Yo, what's good, y'all? It's Jono coming at y'all with a new video. I'm coming at y'all with a breakdown and prediction on the newest card coming up tomorrow night. We got Conor McGregor versus Max Holloway. I'm so excited for that, yo. I mean, I really cannot wait. We got finally the return of McGregor. It's been 5 long awaited years. We're finally getting that. Can't wait. Now we're gonna go with the predictions of this card. We're gonna be breaking it down. I'm gonna give y'all some bets towards the end of the video, and let's get right into it. So with the first fight, we got Alejandro Costa going against Cody Durden. Now Alejandro Costa, he's a pretty good overall, slick boxer. Costa's won 3 out of his last 5 fights in the UFC. And Cody Durden, he's only won 1. Now, I think Alejandro Costa is just a much better overall fighter. He beat Kevin Boras. He just KO'd Matt Schnell, where he completely dismantled Matt Schnell. Really sent Matt Schnell packing, if I had to be honest. Now we got Cody Durden. Cody Durden really just isn't that impressive, but what is impressive about Cody Durden is his overall ability to just keep on fighting. It feels like Cody Durden fights on every kind of big card. See, it seems like it for some reason, at least for me. But I think Alejandro Costa is a much better overall fighter. I think at minus 265 odds, those are really good odds. But I know it's because Costa, just fought last month. And we're seeing Costa step in, because I believe Cody Durden was supposed to fight somebody else. I forgot who he was supposed to fight, but they backed out or something like that. I'm taking Alejandro Costa. I think he's the much better overall fighter. Minus 265. I feel like that's a steal. All right, let's move on to the next one. We got Ryan Gondra against Zachary Reese, man. Now, coming into the scene, I thought Zachary Reese was gonna be like that. I thought he was gonna be knocking out, submitting guys left and right. I thought he even could have been a champion. Whenever I first saw him in the UFC, his build, his overall physique, and what he looks like, his length and stuff like that. You would think he would have what it takes to be what's needed to become a champ in the UFC, but obviously Zachary Reese has not done that at all. He's been far from that, actually. In his last 5 fights, he lost to Michel Pereira in a split decision, where that fight was really just boring to watch. It wasn't enjoyable at all for me whenever I was watching that one. It just looked like 2 fighters who shouldn't really even be in the UFC. If I'm being honest, it was boring. He couldn't KO Jose Medina. He was getting schooled on the feet by Jackson McVeigh. He kicked Cedric Dumas in the nuts. It just really hasn't been that good for Zachary Reese overall, in his career so far. Now, Ryan Gondra, on the other hand, he's brand new to the UFC for real, but he did KO Jose Medina in the first round, which Zachary Reese wasn't able to do. And I think Ryan Gondra with these odds, I think this is honestly really good odds for Ryan Gondra. I think he has the ultimate power in the hands, and I think he's going to be able to knock out Zachary Reese. And I'm going to say in the first round. All right, let's move on. Now, with the next fight of the night, we got Farid Basharat. He was going to fight Ethan Ewing, but Ethan Ewing had to back out due to an injury. I wanted to see Ethan Ewing absolutely school this guy, because this was Farid Basharat's last fight on his contract. And I think he would have got cut from the UFC, if I'm being honest. Honestly, just because he's such a boring fighter. Nobody wants to see Basharat. I don't even know if Basharat has any fans, if I'm being honest. I was even thinking about in this fight, whenever I seen John Garza stepping in on this one just to fight, or for his first fight. I was thinking about the underdog potential here, but I think I gotta go for Farid Basharat want to be smart and get my pick right. Now, John Garza, he's freshly new to the UFC. He's only 23 years old. John Garza, I think he has enough in his bag to actually be able to make this a closer one than like the odds suggest. I think it'll be like a kind of tougher scrap for Farid Basharat. I think it'll be back and forth. I think it honestly might end in a split decision. I think Farid Basharat barely gets it though. I do like John Garza's odds though. If you are gonna pick an underdog, I'm not a fan of Farid Basharat. Like I said, John Garza's 5'8". He looks like he would be like 5'4", but he's surprisingly the same height as Farid Basharat. I haven't looked at like the two next to each other, but we'll see tomorrow. And yeah, man, I'm gonna go Farid Basharat here. I don't really want to, but Farid Basharat by decision, lock it in. And yeah, I'm gonna take Basharat. I'm not quite sure on the overall reach and stuff of Garza, but I think it just makes the most sense to take this one to end in a decision for Farid Basharat. All right, let's move on. We got Damian Penis. We got Damian Penis in his fight now. Or he's fighting Cesar Almeida. Now, Cesar Almeida is a tough, you know what I'm saying, veteran of the game. If I'm being for real, he's 38 years old. And he's a pretty solid, well-rounded fighter. I mean, he lost to Olazechek's brother in his last fight, I believe, in a decision. He's kind of tough to put out. I don't think he's ever actually been knocked out at all, which does kind of scare me in this fight because his chin has been well tested so far. Now, Damian Penas, I mean, he's a really good fighter, but we haven't really got to see him yet. He's only fought really 2 fights in the UFC so far, one in the Contender Series and one on a fight night where he beat Wes Schultz by knockout. Now, that was a pretty good fight, you know what I'm saying, for Penas. I wasn't like too impressed because, you know what I'm saying, it's Wes Schultz. Who cares? Especially like standing up with Wes Schultz. I mean, he's not really a threat. Now, I think he has a lot more than Cesar Almeida does. Cesar Almeida is just such a boring, you know, overall fighter. He's not really that exciting. And Penas, he has knockout power, and I think he has the ability to do really good in this division. I think he can do more than even like an Atiba Gauthier. I think he has more to offer, if I had to be honest. He has really good knockout power, and I think he will be able to actually KO Cesar Almeida. I think he does it in one of the later rounds, probably in the second or third. I don't think he does it in the first. I don't think he gets a first round knockout. But we haven't seen David Penas, you know, in a second round, so we don't know how really quick he gasses out because he knocks everybody out so fast. I'm not sure. I wouldn't put all your money on Penas to win this because Cesar Almeida is a seasoned veteran. But I'm going Penas overall. I like his striking, his overall hit power. I think he's going to be able to knock out Cesar Almeida in the third round. All right, let's get to the next one. We got Tracy Cortez, man, going against Wayne Kong. Now, this fight really is a coin toss, if I had to be honest, y'all. I don't think there's 2 ways this fight's either going to go. Either Wayne Kong is going to absolutely school Tracy Cortez on the feet, which I think she very well could do because we've seen Tracy Cortez going against Rose Namajunas, where she got completely obliterated, y'all. That fight was not good for Cortez. Her eyelash popped out and everything. That was crazy to see. The fake eyelashes just fly up into the air like that. Cortez also lost to Blanchfield, you know, by sub. Now, whenever I first saw this fight, I was like, Wayne Kong has this in the bag. But then I really thought to myself, I was like, if Tracy Cortez can actually establish her wrestling, then, you know, she can actually win this fight, if I'm being for real. Because I believe Wayne Kong got taken down by Eduardo Mora like 3 or 4 times in that fight, which doesn't show that her grappling is really good enough, especially to go against a Cortez who held Vivian. I can't really say her last name, but she held Vivian on the ground that whole fight. I remember on 317. Now Wayne Kong, she's got that kickboxing ability. She's a really good kickboxer. I believe she's the only one to beat Valentina Shevchenko, or at least make it a close fight whenever they both went against each other in kickboxing, at least. But yeah, I think Wayne Kong is gonna win this fight, y'all. I see Tracy Cortez kind of wrestling in the first. I think she actually gets a takedown on Wayne Kong, but I think Kong's gonna catch Cortez with like a right. It's gonna set Cortez down, and I think Wayne Kong in the second's gonna land some hammer fist and then end the fight. I think it's gonna be Wayne Kong by knockout, either knockout or really close decision in this fight. I could see Cortez winning it too, y'all. I mean, I could see her, completely just sitting on Wayne Kong for 3 rounds. But I'm gonna call it like how, my brain thinks, and I think Wayne Kong is gonna really just school Cortez on the feet, kind of like how Rose did in her fight. All right, moving on to the next fight, we got Luke Riley. Got Luke Riley going against Kai Kamaka. Now, Kai Kamaka, he's a really good overall fighter too, y'all. I mean, I was thinking he's a really good underdog to pick on this card. Now, Luke Riley, he beat Michael Aswell in his last fight. He pretty much schooled Aswell on the feet. He was going crazy, especially in that first round. I had Luke Riley by knockout, but I mean, what can you really do when Aswell was just staying up for all his life? I mean, he couldn't get knocked out at all. But he did knock out Bogdan Grad, which I think I took Bogdan Grad in that fight because I thought he was gonna get a fluke over Luke Riley. But that did not happen. Bogdan Grad actually did get like a takedown, I think, in the first round of that fight, I remember. And then in the second round, ultimately, Bogdan Grad got slimed out in the second round. All right, now Kai Kamaka. Kai Kamaka is one of the only other Hawaiians on this card. He won his last fight against Dakota Hope. Now, I think this is a closer fight than what the odds are saying. Both of them are around the same height. I think Kai Kamaka is just a little bit shorter, which it doesn't seem like it would be, but Kai Kamaka is 31, still in the prime of his career. They're both really good overall fighters, y'all. I mean, Kai Kamaka, he did have a split decision versus Dakota Hope. And Dakota Hope, honestly, has only had one fight in the UFC, so I really can't judge anything off of that. I think I'm going to go with Luke Riley. I got to go Luke Riley here. I mean, I feel like he's just next up, and he's pretty much set up to win this fight. I don't know if he's going to win by knockout. I think it's going to be by a close decision, 29-28. Taking Luke Riley on this fight, y'all. All right, let's get to the next one. Oh, man, we got Adrian Yanez versus Cody Garbrandt, man. Cody Garbrandt, whatever happened there, if I'm being honest. Whatever happened to Cody Garbrandt, man. He has not been locked in. In his last fight, he went against Zhao Long, where he somehow won a decision unanimously against Long in that fight, which didn't make no sense to me because Cody Garbrandt was getting absolutely pieced up on the feet, especially in that third round. I don't know how all the judges still had him win in that third round. I think that was crazy. I don't even know how that fight overall was just dumb, bro. Zhao Long, I mean, when he kicked him in the nuts, Cody Garbrandt looked like he was going to be in his prime. He looked like he was ready to lock in, and all he did was a flying knee and then avoided shots for the rest of the round. It was terrible to see. Cody Garbrandt, man, what are you doing, bro? Like, man, whatever happened to prime Garbrandt, man? Where he won where he was fucking a champion, bro. Whatever happened to that Cody Garbrandt? You know, versus Dominique Cruz. Whatever happened there? All right, now Adrian Yanez, man, he should have beaten Ricky Simone in that last fight, but it was a draw somehow. I don't even know how that was a draw. I had a bet on Ricky Simone, and I somehow walked out and survived on that one, on the Adesanya card. Now Ricky Simone, or not Ricky Simone, Adrian Yanez. I think he's easily gonna school Cody Garbrandt on the feet, y'all. Cody Garbrandt is just so washed. I don't even know how he's. I don't think he's gonna be in the UFC much longer, y'all. I mean, I think he's just a complete jobber at this point. I think he's gonna get knocked out by Yanez in this fight. Yanez is such a crisp overall boxer. What he was able to do to Ricky Simone's face was absolutely brutal in the last fight whenever they fought each other. Now Yanez is minus 430, and I think he's minus 430 for a reason, you guys, because Cody Garbrandt just doesn't have it anymore. I'm not trying to bring the man down or nothing, but my God, bro, you lost to Zhao Long, bro. The referees gave you that fight, dog. Like, come on, bro. Let's be for real. And then he got submitted by freaking Figueiredo just like a year and a half ago or 2 years ago, I think it was. He lost to Barcelos pretty easily. Yanez is just gonna piece this man up for real, y'all. I don't think Cody Garbrandt has enough. He doesn't have really knockout power. I mean, the last time he knocked out somebody was like 3 years ago. Cody Garbrandt, 35 years old, completely washed at this point. Yanez looked really good in his last fight. I'm thinking Yanez is like one of the biggest locks on this card, especially minus 430. I would add that into any parlay, any time of the day. But yeah, that's my pick, y'all. Let's get to the next one. We got Gable Stevenson in his UFC debut, or Gable Stevenson. I think I said Stevenson. Gable Stevenson in his first fight in the UFC. He's 3-0 on the regional scene, and he's going against Elise. Am I saying that right? Alicia Ellison. He's going against Alicia Ellison. Alicia Ellison has fought in the UFC one time so far. He got absolutely slimed out and murdered by Brandel Perisic in the first round. Didn't take long to put out Ellison. Now I think Gable Stevenson's really just going to come in and just dismantle this guy. I mean, this is a complete jobber. He looks like Evan Mobley, if I had to be honest with y'all. I couldn't get it out of my head whenever I was making like these slides. I couldn't stop thinking of Evan Mobley if he fought in the heavyweight division. But the heavyweight division is pretty stacked now, y'all. Getting Gable Stevenson in there, if he absolutely just, kills this guy pretty much in this fight. I mean, this dude is minus 4,000, y'all, in his debut fight this is the fourth fight of his career in the first fight in the UFC. This is crazy. I know he's an established wrestler, dominant wrestler, probably one of the best wrestlers of all time. Collegiate wrestlers. And he's fighting an absolute bum, Evan Mobley here. I don't think Evan Mobley has a chance. I think he's going to get absolutely probably taken down in Gable Stevenson. I don't know why I keep wanting to say Stevenson. Gable Stevenson, he's gonna land shots. I think he's gonna win by ground and pound. I think it's just gonna be a really easy fight. I think he's just gonna take the back of Ellison and just start landing left, right to the side of the head and ultimately win like that in the first round. I think he does this probably like in the first couple minutes, probably like a minute and a half. I see his fight getting stopped. There's not much more to be said besides Gable's gonna run through this guy. I mean, minus 4,000 is insane, though. I don't think any fighter should be minus 4,000. No matter how good you are, I don't think in the MMA you should be minus 4,000. Do not bet on this, y'all. Do not bet on him at minus 4,000. If you want to win 4 cents, just ask me for 4 cents, bro, because there's no way, bro. Like, you're down bad if you're betting on that. And I wouldn't be mad if you bet on Alicia Ellison, but you're kind of donating to charity, if I'm being honest. Alicia Ellison, he's really not that good. I can't remember his exact record, but he got slammed out by Perisic easily, and that's all I need to know. I can see this fight going straight to the ground, and it's over pretty much from there because, you know, Ellison's not getting up from that. All right, let's move on. We got Whitaker versus Krylov. Man, Whitaker's moving up to light heavyweight. He's going to be fighting Krylov here. I think Whitaker's going to win this fight. He's a slight favorite at -130. Now, Whitaker, obviously, he's 27-9. He's won his last, I think, like 2 out of his last 5, which is kind of sad. But this is against very good comp. Split decision versus RDR. He got absolutely, you know, killed by Hamzat. He lost that one where he broke his jaw. That was insane. He beat Ikram in like 2 seconds. And he beat Costa in 2024 where Costa was kind of washed. But he beat Costa. Costa's been on a run here lately, but I can't say much more than that. Yeah, I'm going to go Whitaker here. I think Whitaker wins this one probably by a decision against Krylov. I think if Krylov wins this, he's gonna win by knockout. I don't see him winning by a decision in this fight. Yeah, I think Krylov he looks more washed. If you're looking at Krylov, bro, he just looks washed. I don't know why. I'm going Whitaker, man. I think he's gonna school him on the feet. I think his boxing is just so much better. Now I know him moving up, I'm not sure how that's gonna translate to his overall like hit power in his hands, because he really isn't the best at getting knockouts. At least here recently, he's been getting knocked out himself. He got knocked out by a Duplessis. I mean, he don't get knocked out much, but he's been losing a lot of fights. I think him moving up the light heavyweight, it might actually help him on the feet. I hope it does, because I want to see Bobby Knuckles win this fight. He's -130. I'm going to add him to my parlay. I ain't going to lie, but Krylov could win this fight by knockout. I could see that happening as well. Krylov is kind of washed. He did get a win over Modestas Bukauskas, but that was a really like close fight up until that moment. He won like literally as soon as I think the round started. Yeah, he won I think in the first 3 seconds. It said, yeah. So I'm gonna go with Whitaker to win this one, probably by decision. I mean, Krylov really hasn't beaten anybody. He lost to Dominic Reyes and Bogdan Guskov, both by knockout in the first round in the same year last year. I think Krylov is really just washed. I don't think a win over Bukauskas is good enough to say that I'm taking him over Robert Whitaker right now. I'm going Whitaker. Let's get to the next fight. Let's go. We got the Hood Classic, y'all. We got Terrence T-Rex McKinney versus King Green. Now, Bobby Green, I'm going to call him Bobby. You know, like Terrence McKinney said, I'm going to call him Bobby because I'm a schmurtle. That's what Terrence McKinney said in the interview I saw. Now, Terrence McKinney, we know he's the first round demon. He's the first round guy. He doesn't have any bonuses yet, though. All first round knockouts, submissions, all first round stoppages, and this man still hasn't got a bonus. Come on, Damon. Get this man a bonus, especially if he gets it done against Bobby Green, bro. If he KOs Bobby Green in the first round or submits him, I think he deserves that bonus. I ain't gonna lie, bro. Obviously you gotta give it probably in that main event versus, the McGregor fight. They're probably gonna give that one an automatic bonus no matter what happens. But excuse me. We got McKinney. Now, he got that knockout over Kyle Nelson. That only took 24 seconds. That was outrageous. He literally, I think he landed a knee up the middle, or I think it was a leg kick to the side of the head of Nelson. I think it kind of dropped Nelson, stumbled him a little bit, and he started unloading shots all over Kyle Nelson.
He lost to Chris Duncan where he ran out of gas. It seemed like after just 2 minutes and 30 seconds. It's scary trying to bet on Terrence McKinney because his gas tank is absolutely fried because he throws all his energy in the first couple minutes. And Bobby Green, these are two dangerous ass fighters, if I had to be honest. Bobby Green, he fights with his hands down. He fights like he's in the hood for real. And Terrence McKinney, he's gonna throw an absolute storm at you in the first couple minutes. I don't know how this fight's really gonna go. I've been going back and forth with who's gonna win all week. And I think I'm still gonna rock with Terrence McKinney in this one by first round knockout. I think King Green, obviously, he's a really dangerous fighter as well. He won his last fight by submission against Jeremy Stephens, where Jeremy Stephens, bro, in 2026, that's not really that impressive to me. Winning by a submission against Jeremy Stephens, I think he's like 41 or something. I just know Jeremy Stephens is old at this point. Now the win against Zell Huber, that was pretty impressive. Getting that one done. Zell Huber is trash. I thought Zell Huber, whenever he was coming up, I thought he was going to be this really good young prospect, but obviously he's not proven that. He's lost, I think, like his last 3 fights or something. Lance Gibson, that was a pretty decent win for Bobby, but obviously he got slimed out by Mauricio Hufi and submitted by Paddy Pimblett. Now, Terrence McKinney, like I said, he beat Kyle Nelson by knockout. I don't really need to say much besides first round or nothing for Terrence McKinney. I'm taking him by first round KO. Let's get to the next one. We got Loner Kavanaugh going against Brandon Royval. Now, Loner Kavanaugh is a really good prospect, kind of on the level of like a Joshua Van and stuff like that. Really good, and he's young too. I think he's only like 26 years old. He's going against Brandon Royval, who's a really good boxer. Royval does kind of throw with his chin up in the air, so I think Loner Kavanaugh might actually catch him in this fight. Loner Kavanaugh got a win over Brandon Moreno, where he kind of outpaced Moreno and showed what he could do. Royval got slammed out by Manel Kape in their last fight. And honestly, I can't remember the height difference here. I think he might have like a 3 or 4 inch height advantage for Royval. Let me check that real quick, y'all. Okay, yeah, 3-inch height advantage. Royval's 5'9", and Kavanaugh is 5'6". Kavanaugh is the much, younger fighter. He's 6 years younger, about the same reach, which is pretty surprising. And I think Kavanaugh just has, enough in his bag to be able to just beat Brandon Royval here. I know Joshua Van couldn't knock out Royval or nothing like that, but I think Kavanaugh has the power to do so. But I don't know. I was going to take him to win by a knockout, but honestly, I see this going to a decision. I'm going to say Loner Kavanaugh wins this by decision. I don't see this getting stopped here. I think it's just going to be back and forth. Kavanaugh just throws, the most strikes in this fight, most significant strikes. I think in the first and third round, I think he's going to win. I think Royval is probably going to win like the second round or something like that. I think it's going to be a close decision, 29-28. Now let's move on to the next fight. We got Corey Sandhagen going against Mario Batista, man. These are two really smart fighters. Two really good established fighters and what they've done in the UFC. Now Batista, he's got some pretty good wins on his record as well, as he beat Vinicius Oliveira by submission. He lost to Umar Nurmagomedov. That was, really good fight, especially for Umar. He pretty much got him out of there. with what he was able to do with his wrestling and stuff like that. But I think Corey Sandhagen, I don't know who's gonna like land more takedowns in this fight. I think it would be Corey Sandhagen probably. These guys are really good at what they do. They're good at getting wins. I'm gonna go with Mario Batista here. I think he's really good as an underdog. He beat Vinicius Oliveira. He beat Patchy Mix, which honestly I don't know how impressive that is. He beat Jose Aldo by holding him against the cage, which was smart on his part, honestly, if I had to be for real. But yeah, man, Jose Aldo, that was a good win on his record, at least. I think Mario Batista is just a really smart fighter, y'all. I can't see him losing. I don't know why. I wanted to see Sandhagen versus O'Malley, but we didn't get that. We got to see O'Malley knock out Zahabi or whatever on the White House card. I think Batista's gonna end up winning this fight in a very close like split decision. I think he's gonna land more on his feet. I think he's gonna be able to kind of clinch up against Sandhagen, kind of similar to what he did against Jose Aldo. I think he's gonna win this one by a split decision, y'all. I think Sandhagen, I just don't like the way he fights for real. I don't know. Something about Sandhagen, especially like his last couple fights and stuff like that. I don't know. There's really close decisions. I see this fight going Mario Batista in his favor. I'm going to take Batista by a split decision. All right, let's move on. Now we got Paddy Pimblett versus BSD. Now BSD, he's been on a freaking tear lately. He beat Dan Hooker by knockout, beat Beneil Dariush by knockout in like one of the fastest knockouts that I've ever seen. He beat Mauricio Hufi in a sub in the second round, where he completely just sat on Hufi the whole fight and then not knocked him out, then submitted him. And he beat Kyle Prepelec as well. So he's been on a 4-fight streak, which is really impressive, not to say the least. And he's going against Paddy Pimblett, who just lost in a decision against Justin Gaethje. Now, I don't know if they fight kind of like how Gaethje and Pimblett fight. I think Pimblett's gonna win this, but if BSD's smart and what he does in this fight, I think BSD is gonna win this. But honestly, I feel like you don't know what BSD are really gonna get. I mean, here lately though, he's been on a run, so I'm gonna pick BSD here, but be cautious if you're betting on this fight. I think Pimblett could honestly get taken down by BSD, then maybe scramble his way up top and maybe get a submission on BSD or something like that. Maybe start landing some ground and pound shots or something. But Pimblett's really good at fighting up off the ground and, you know, establishing kind of control on the top, like, and getting back from the bottom. But Paddy Pimblett, he's 4 out of his last 5 he's won. He beat Chandler, Green, and Ferguson. He's been on the Unk run, dismantling the Unks, I guess, of the UFC. But yeah, I'm gonna go with BSD here. I'm gonna go BSD by. I'm gonna take BSD by knock. I don't know though. Knockout is crazy, bro, because Pimblett doesn't get knocked out. So I might actually change my pick here. I'm gonna go Paddy Pimblett. I'm gonna go Paddy Pimblett by knockout. I'm gonna take Paddy Pimblett by knockout in the second round. I was gonna go BSD. I pretty much have said BSD all week, but it's kind of been back and forth, just because of, you know, how I think this fight plays out. I think Paddy Pimblett's going to get taken down and stuff like that in the first. I think he's going to fight his way back up. I think he's going to outstrike BSD on the feet and ultimately sit BSD down to end this run that he's been on, where he's, you know, knocking out, submitting guys. I think Paddy Pimblett returns and gets a win. All right, let's move on to the next fight. We got the main event, y'all. Conor McGregor against Holloway. Now, this is the second fight that they are fighting. The last fight, he didn't lay a glove on him. The first fight. All right, let me break this down real quick. Conor McGregor, his last fight has been, over 5 years ago now. He's, I think he's 37 now. I think he turns 38 in like a couple days. Now, Conor McGregor, he got injured in his last fight, the Dustin Poirier, where, he broke his leg in that fight. And he fought Dustin Poirier the time before that. And he's really never made it out of the second round since 2018. So, if Conor McGregor does win this fight, I would take Conor McGregor by like round 1 knockout. I've been saying this all week. I think Conor McGregor is either going to win in the first round, or I think Max Holloway is going to win in those later rounds and kind of just find the shots that he wants on Conor. I think Conor is going to get a little tired and gassed because he does have that rust of not being in the UFC for so long. I think Max Holloway is just going to ultimately find some really good shots. As we know, he's a really good boxer, really good on the feet. Now, Conor McGregor does have the power advantage, kind of has that Ilia Topuria type power where he can knock out Max Holloway, maybe, but Max Holloway has a really good chin. Now, Ilia Topuria did crack that chin, so that chin's probably on like 80 HP out of 100. But I think his chin will still hold up. In that first round, he might get stumbled a little bit by Conor McGregor, but I think Max Holloway is just a tough enough fighter to be able to take those, big shots and still stay up on his feet a little bit. Ilia Topuria was just a different breed that day. I think Conor McGregor is just going to be really rusty. I think everybody, really just all the casuals, are hyping up McGregor in this. I think this is why his odds are just at plus 180 instead of like plus 300. And I think McGregor will ultimately lose this fight. I think he loses in round 3 by knockout. Max Holloway is going to get him, and Conor McGregor is probably going to retire. Now, if Conor McGregor does win this fight, he's going to win in the first round. That's all I see happening. I see him literally not laying a glove on Max Holloway, or Max Holloway not laying a glove on him, and then Conor McGregor just freaking, knocks him to the ground and start landing ground and pound on Max. I can see that happening as well, but if we were in a fairy tale, that would probably happen. I think Max Holloway is going to win this fight. I think Max Holloway wins this in the 3rd or 4th round whenever Conor McGregor's getting tired. I think he's going to, send some shots to the body, and he's going to get Conor McGregor out of there by knockout. I seen somebody on Twitter or whatever saying to take Max Holloway by submission. I don't know why you would take that. That's just stupid. I'm going to talk about the best bets on the card that I looked at. I know there's more that I could go with, but these are some of the bets that I would take on this card. Now, the first one, I would take Alejandro Costa by knockout or submission at plus 100. I think this is really good against Cody Durden, who really just doesn't win at all, especially coming off of a knockout. I don't think he's going to win another fight again. I think he's going to go on another bad losing streak. So to take Alejandro Costa by KO or submission here, it's very valuable odds at plus 100, so you could double your money. And this one you could probably add to like a parlay or something like that. You could add all 4 of these in a parlay if y'all want. But this is Terrence McKinney going against Bobby Green. This is the under 1.5 rounds or the fight to end by knockout. This is minus 425. So yeah, like I said, you could add this to your parlay, stuff like that. Get you some extra money on there. And yeah, that one. And then Yanez to win by knockout versus Cody Garbrandt. This one's at minus 160 odds. So I think that's some really good value there too, because Cody Garbrandt, his chin just isn't there. He fights with like his chin up and stuff like that, and ultimately gets sat down like he did in his last fight. He almost got knocked out, but he somehow stayed in it, because I don't know what was going on in that fight, honestly. That fight was terrible to watch. Now, against Cody Garbrandt, Yanez is just really going to show off his boxing. kind of like he did to Ricky Simone in that third round. And Cody Garbrandt just isn't good. So at minus 160, I like these odds. I like these odds a lot. I think Yanez is going to piece him up. Yanez has a decent chin on him as well. He was taking shots from Simone and wasn't even bleeding. So I like that. Minus 160 for that one. And then the last one I got for y'all is Sandhagen versus Bautista. On the over 2.5 rounds, I think both of these fighters are very smart. Their IQ is really good. So I would take this fight to go over 2.5. I think that's free money. Honestly, if you want to take it to go by decision as well for the more odds or more better odds, I would take that as well. Sandhagen and Batista, they're really good at, you know, taking it all through a decision. So like I said earlier in my prediction on this fight, I would take this one to go about, you know, to a close decision for either of these guys. All right, that's gonna be the video, y'all. Let me know who or which fight y'all are most excited for on this card. Obviously, most of y'all are probably gonna say Conor McGregor, but one of my favorite fights has to be one of the other fights on the card, which is Terrence McKinney versus Bobby Green. I'm really looking forward to that one. That was a hood classic. Everybody's gonna be, you can't even like blink on that fight because you never know what can happen in that first round with Terrence McKinney. You can't look down at all. You got to be prepared in that first round to watch. There's no looking away from that one. But yeah, y'all, let me know down in the comments. Make sure to like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see y'all in the next video.